One of the best ways to successfully sell your products is to clearly showcase what you stand for and what you stand against. This is very important because we often buy from people who also have the same beliefs that we do. And today's proven email breakdown is a great example of that because I'm taking a look at a Ben Settle email. Ben Settle is a superstar in email copywriting circles, and he's well known for his very contrarian style. He shares a lot of stories. He clearly shows what he stands against, especially like newbies and guru fanboys and flaky people. He clearly and very visually despises these types of people. And yes, this may turn off many people who end up on his list, but he actively works at basically unsubscribing those people and instead building an audience that's, he even calls this audience the Horde, like from World of Warcraft. So, Ben Settle definitely triggers a lot of people. However, he's probably, arguably, the most effective email marketers out there at the moment, especially a personal brand-driven email marketer, because he just cultivates the same values and belief structures in his audience like he has. And in the past videos, we talked about belief structures and how important they are in getting the sale. And this email hopefully is going to be one more proof point for you to believe that the aim of emails is to establish know, like, and trust. And one of the best ways to establish this is to clearly showcase who you stand for, who you stand against, because this creates security in people. This makes Ben Settle in this case feels like someone who the right person can trust. And this is very important because no matter how good your pitch is, if you don't have this connect between how your target audience thinks, how your ideal customer avatar thinks, and how you think, it's just not gonna connect. They're just not gonna buy from you. So this is actually a great email. And a lot of things are going on here. Ben Settle, of course, he's one of the best email copywriters in the world right now. His writing flows very well, and he has some very interesting quirks unique to him. For example, super long paragraphs. Like one of the first things you learn in copywriting school, let's call it that, is that your paragraphs shouldn't be long because it's easier to read if they're not long. But Ben Settle actively works at discouraging people who are only looking for easy and cheap and fast. Okay, his whole methodology, his whole brand revolves around the fact that no, getting rich quick doesn't work. Getting rich overnight doesn't work. However, if you do follow my tips and strategies, then you will definitely make it, but you will have to put in the work that's needed for this. So I just wanted to give you this short context so that you understand what's going on here. And as I said before in previous videos, and again, there's a link in the description below to the entire playlist, to this entire 50-day proven email breakdown playlist, as well as my 100-day proven sales letter breakdown playlist. But one thing that's super important here is that shifting these beliefs is extremely important, and you have to look at your email game from a higher perspective. It's not just one individual email. One email is just one part of the whole puzzle, but you have to look at the strategy here as well. So let's take a look at this email. The subject line says, when you can only handle so much low IQ before cracking. So we can immediately see, and these types of subject lines are very typical of Ben Settle. It's very contrarian, or it sounds different. Either it's super long in most cases, or it's shorter. Usually it's super long. This is, I would say, average, or maybe a little longer than average. But a few things are going on in this subject line. First of all, this when assumes that there's an interesting situation or story that's happening inside the email. And it's a very interesting thing that's happening here. In most cases, your subject line probably works harder than your from line to get people to open your email. But in Ben Settle's case, I guess it's the inverse. It's like when people see an email from Ben Settle, they know what type of email it's going to be like. They know that there's going to be a blatant pitch inside. They know there's going to be some sort of juicy story or something like that. So in this case, Ben Settle as the from line already has a lot of, it does a lot of the heavy lifting for people to open the email. And then the subject line complements that by just validating Ben's style. Again, this might not seem like, email copywriting, but from a strategic point of view, it's very important for you to understand this, because good copy is about copy thinking, not just copywriting. It's not about formulas. So when you can handle so much low IQ, again, this assumes that there's going to be some juicy trivia in here, and he's going to be basically shit-talking someone before cracking. And again, it presupposes a juicy story. So the email begins by, jumping right into the action. Recently, my business partner in all things software, Troy Broussard, sent me this. So this first sentence, it sounds like a real life trivia that people experience. It's like, hey, my neighbor told me something funny the other day. This is how people talk, and the whole email feels like a rant from Ben Settle. And that's what people actually enjoy reading, believe it or not. They don't necessarily want hard teaching, especially in free emails. They want some sort of trivia. They want some sort of edutainment. There's this concept called edutainment, education with entertainment. And that's why another superstar email marketer at this point, Daniel Thrussell, also does really well, because he does a great job at educating people, but he also does a great job, even better job, entertaining people with funny stories and random stuff that's happening in his life. So yeah, it's definitely something that I really respect in both of these people, is that they're extremely good at doing this. I'm not so good at doing this. I lean more heavily in education, but I know it's not so good, but it's my style. What can I do? So yeah, the first part of this email, it just quickly introduces the context. And basically what happens next is a real life conversation happening between Troy and an ex-client of his. So this part is written in the first person perspective, but it's from Troy's point of view. So this ex-client of mine, former coaching client, this adds context, texts me out of the blue and is about to publish his book and ask me about QR codes. I tell him about Redirect Me, perfect for what he needs and perfect timing. So it's setting up the stage for the story. And then the plot thickens. He starts asking me all kinds of questions. I copy-paste images of the answers on the sales page. He asks another. I say, read the sales page. Then he starts to argue about why he needs to spend $20. And then Troy's response is, dude, you texted and asked me what to do. I told you. Now you're arguing over $20 with me. Go away. I'm becoming very Ben-esque, lol, go away. So, quick story, it gets us, the readers, into the middle of the action, and we can already feel like Ben is going to basically just destroy this guy who's arguing over $20. So this just shows that, so the whole idea behind Ben's brand is that he only wants to cater to people who are high quality subscribers, high quality leads, high quality customers. And in a minute, we're going to talk about a specific mechanism that Ben actually uses in his emails, in his business, to disqualify people who give up way too easily. But yeah, it makes sense. Like, if you're a business owner, you've probably been in the situation where there are these bottom feeder clients who are trying to rob you of your time and argue over $20. Like, who likes that? Nobody, right? And that's why this is. If Ben is writing to an audience that already believes this type of email just validates those beliefs, and it builds even more rapport with Ben. And people who are reading this, who are the right type of people, they're gonna feel like, wow, Ben understands me. I mean, I've been in this situation. It's so annoying. Which means that the know, like, and trust that we're trying to always build with our emails goes up. It's kind of like Ian Stanley's concept of the emotional bank account. You're depositing money in your subscribers' emotional bank account, so that when the time comes that you have to sell something, you subtract money away from that emotional bank account. And this definitely adds to it. So Then after this quote part, Ben, starts his rant. He says, high IQ guys like Troy, literally was a Navy nuclear engineer, can only handle so much low IQ behavior before cracking. So again, true to Ben's branding, this is what I call marketing elitism. It's very clear what he stands for and what he stands against. He clearly despises these low IQ people. Obviously, they might be low IQ in the sense of true IQ, but like this is how he calls them because he wants to establish an us versus them mentality. Again, because we buy, like polarizing things has its risks, but ultimately it produces more and better customers because the people who are pro you, they're going to buy much more. So, and a lot of business owners, just like I told you a few seconds ago, they've been in this situation before and they find it annoying. So, and when you say high IQ guys like Troy, a lot of people reading this are like, oh yeah, I'm also a high IQ guy because I'm not a bottom feeder like this person in the dialogue. So again, this builds no like and trust. This is a proof element. Literally was a Navy nuclear engineer. So yeah, this part again just establishes the context for what's about to come now. And it's always fun to listen to him rant about things. Again, Ben enjoys these things. But as I told him, you will officially achieve, like this part, it just adds personality, it adds more to that polarizing element, and it builds massive trust with the right people who are reading this. And then Ben basically just wraps up this whole idea by just saying, and so it is. Like he's very good at doing rough transitions between various ideas, and it's very hard to do transitions as a copywriter. If you're a copywriter watching this, you probably know how hard it is to properly transition away from like a story element to like introducing your product or something like that without feeling rough or in a hurry. So, but then some many times okay, I forgot how to speak. Just does something like, and so it is. And then he immediately says something else. Like sometimes you don't necessarily have to have these super sophisticated transitions. You can get away with like blatantly jumping to another idea. And it's a great lesson for you as well. It's like sometimes you can do this in your own emails. Or sales copy. You talk about something and just say, okay, so on another note, or something else, or something like that, or something else. One of the reasons for my no coming back rule with people who leave email prayers is not because I'm so hog nasty rich I want to turn away the newbies. It's because 9 out of 10 times they have the same mentality as Troy's ex-customer above. So this is thing that Ben, one of the things that Ben is famous for. He has this product called Email Players, which is a subscription, a monthly subscription service. I think it costs $100, maybe now it's $200. And you get a package in the physical mail every single month, and there's no backlog for it. Like if you join later, you cannot get those past issues. Like every single issue is unique in a sense. And that's a pretty interesting organic scarcity element to it for people to subscribe. But Ben actually adds another rule to this, is that when people subscribe and they cancel, he doesn't let them in anymore. Like maybe they can game the system, and he also talks about gaming the system here later, but he actively wants to discourage people from being bad customers. Again, he's very strict about this, maybe too strict, and a lot of people don't like this. But again, the people who do put up with this, they appreciate this because it just shows Ben as this trustworthy person with integrity. Yes, he is strict, but he is like a strict parent. Like he is strict, but he has his clear rules. And if you respect the rules, you get tons of amazing value and your life is going to change. If you don't respect the rules, then, it was clearly written, like what you have to do and what you cannot do. So a lot of people appreciate this. So then he adds a little context to this part because, again, this might be a little too polarizing to some people. And he says, it doesn't make them bad people, like people who cancel, just makes them terrible customers for my particular offers. So this is not personal. This is just like why he does it. It's a reason why behind his actions, which makes sense. And for a lot of people, it makes it easier to understand this whole thing. Then he very smartly disqualifies his rivals because of this. So he says, that's why I am grateful for all the cheap competition out there. Like how ingenious this is. You have a lot of competitions in any business, right? And then you establish yourself as this elitist organization or this elitist brand that only has the best customers, and you don't want to like fight your competition. You know that you're better than them. You know that you're okay. Let them have all the tire kickers and all the low quality customers, right? It's a very strong branding element here, and it just makes me chuckle inside. Like Ben is really good at this. And then he even like dimensionalizes this whole thing. He says every ecosystem needs scavengers, carp, catfish, etc. And it's always good when those who leave my world float down to the bottom where those scavengers are. I certainly don't want them anymore. If they weren't intelligent, ambitious, interested enough to use the info before, they won't later. So what is the point? And the scavengers get a free meal. Everyone wins. So this is a great way to show people something instead of telling them. Again, a very important concept in copywriting, showing instead of telling. This is very visual, right? Instead of just saying them, hey, hey, I want to send these people over to my competition because they're bad quality customers anyway. He comes up with this very visual metaphor type of thing, right? And you can imagine it, and it feels visceral almost. And again, this is a hallmark of a good copywriter. Everyone wins. So this is just a wrap-up element here. So Ben is really good at wrapping up certain sections. He's very structured. You can see his thinking pattern. Like the first paragraph is just a one sentence open. Then it's a very structured dialogue, like it even has these visual elements here. Then we have this thing, this part that connects, just adds commentary to the dialogue. And then it has an end. And then there's another section. And then it has an end. And then there's another section. And then it has an end. So he's very structured in this part. You don't always have to be like this, but it's something I noticed. So everyone wins. And then this part is genius. Like, this is my favorite part of the entire email. He says, uh-oh, hear that? That's the sound of a now offended guru fanboy angry typing me a response. While he's doing that, let me get down to business. And then he transitions to the pitch. Like, what a strong way to transition to your product, right? You introduce a story, you talk about all the things that you stand for and the things that you stand against, and then you transition to your product by saying, hear that? It's a guru fanboy who's offended, and right now he's typing something like an angry response back at me. So it's very polarizing, but it converts really well. Like, polarizing converts. That's the truth. That's why very polarizing world leaders or politicians, they also have their rabid followings because they are polarizing. And yes, they disqualify half of the people, but the remaining half, they're going to be twice or three times more fanatical about them. It's just how us humans work. So he transitions to the pitch, and he just straight up goes into the upcoming February email players issue detailing 26 different ways to grow a business with email. Is coming out, and basically he just introduces email players, which is his main product, his main subscription product, and just adds more context regarding hey, this is for serious entrepreneurs only who actually put in the time and effort and energy into implementing all the things that they're learning. It's not for bottom feeders. But then you also get a high level overview. And And then he qualifies good leads and then disqualifies bad leads. So he says, but I figure I might as well mention it anyway, especially since the February issue requires all the attributes they don't have. So at this point, he's still disqualifying actually bad leads, like people who are clearly not a good fit for this, and they're just going to ask for a refund eventually anyway, or they're just going to cancel anyway. And then Ben just gives them one less, one less twisting the knife here. It's like, it's like, I'm tired of mentioning this, but I just wanted to mention it anyway. You'd be much better off buying another $7 WS. So this stands for Warrior Special Offer or something. These are like cheap knockoff courses in most cases. Again, clearly showing what Ben stands for. For everyone else, the deadline to subscribe in time is tomorrow. Hit the jump below to get in while there's still a little time left. So he just introduces the product, gives a high-level overview, just gives one more bash to his not ideal customers, adds more contextualization here, and then for everyone else, everyone who's actually a good customer, who's smart, who's successful, who you as the reader want to actually be, like, go to the link right now. And notice there's no powerful neuro-linguistic programming type of sales pitch, or there's no sophisticated offer structure or something like that. He just says, go to this link, and then he just copy paste the link. The link itself, like, there's no embedded button, there's no link embedded into the text itself. Just, hey, here's the link, go here. And the reason why he can get away with this, and his emails are probably the best in the business, like in terms of open rates and click-through rates, is because he spent so much time over the years just shifting the beliefs of people, just establishing clearly who he is, who he isn't, and this is very important, being consistent. Being like, people feel like, Ben is Ben. Either I like him or I don't. But Ben is not going to be like a fake guru who today is trying to sell you a coaching program for getting clients on TikTok, but tomorrow he's selling you a coaching program on minting your own NFT, and the day after tomorrow, they're selling you the coaching program on how to actually start a like a bunker business, a nuclear bunker business or something like that, right? Like get rich quick in nuclear bunkers. I can imagine someone doing this already. But yeah, like he is consistent, and this leads people to actually see him as someone credible, someone who has integrity, respects all the things that he says, and whatever he says today will be true tomorrow, 1 month from now, 1 year from now, probably 10 years from now, because Ben Settle is all about principles. And, I'm also all about principles and fundamentals. And that's why I actually did my 100-day proven sales letter breakdown series, often going back to 100-year-old ads, because the same principles of human persuasion never change. And I hope that you also keep this in mind, because yes, there are always going to be tons of flashy marketing tactics and new marketing channels and all sorts of gizmos out there, but fundamentally the what people need in order to buy never really changes. And once you understand that, then you're going to have a timeless skill. And that's why I also specialize in direct response copywriting. Yeah, just my 2 cents, but I think it's very important. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this email. I really did. I'm gonna cover more Ben Settle emails, of course, in the future, because a lot of people love him, and definitely his emails, they get attention, especially with the subject line like this. So if you enjoyed the video, then do me a favor, please. Like the video, it helps a lot with the algorithm. Leave a comment below. A lot of people don't leave comments, but whatever, like if it triggered you, if you learned something interesting from this email, if you don't agree with something that I said, if you agree with something that I said, if you want to learn more from Ben Settle or something like that, or like get more email breakdowns that cover Ben Settle emails, just leave a comment below. It helps more than you can think, and I definitely appreciate it. And also share this video with someone who might also be interested in this. It's free on YouTube, but since I don't really promote these, only to my list and to my very, very limited social media following, it's the only help I can get to get these emails in front of more eyeballs. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and take care. See you on Monday, because I'm only doing these breakdowns on weekdays. Okay, cheers, take care, have a great weekend.